Well done, you see boy IY80 alongside the man JR. I said I don't want to walk this earth if I gotta do it solo. Yeah, we used to be a team, running the streets, yeah, we was living out our dream. Oh, you used to be my rider, I was your provider, and now we separated in two. Oh, when we was burning up the block, yeah, and everybody know when we stepped in the spot. Oh, see, we was like the dynamic duo. I never thought that you'd go, but you did, yeah, you did. Oh, and baby, you left and sailed away alone, yeah, alone. And now you got me trapped up on this island where nowhere to get home. And I don't wanna go, go, I don't wanna go, go, I don't want it, no, I don't want it, no. I don't want to walk this earth if I gotta do it solo, solo. 'Cause I was so high and now I'm so low, and I don't wanna walk around alone solo. I said I don't want to walk this earth if I gotta do it solo, solo, solo. Put the beat onto my top line, put us together and yeah, I feel it the rewind. Say you give me a purpose, now I'm getting nervous that my heart will never sing again. Oh, when we were burning up the airwaves, they knew us from the Virgin Islands to the UK. See, we was on our way to the platinum and gold. Never thought that you'd go, but you did, yeah, yeah, you did. Oh, and baby, you left and sailed away alone, and now you got me trapped up on this island where nowhere to get home. And I don't wanna go, go, I don't wanna go, go, I don't want it, no, I don't want it, no. I don't want to walk this earth if I gotta do it solo, solo. 'Cause I was so high and now I'm so low, and I don't wanna walk around alone solo. I said I don't want to walk this earth if I gotta do it solo, solo, solo. I don't wanna walk S-O-L-O. I don't wanna walk S-O-L-O. Oh no, solo. I don't wanna walk S-O-L-O. I don't wanna walk S-O-L-O. I don't ever wanna let your love go. Oh no, I don't wanna walk S-O-L-O. I don't wanna go, go, I don't want it, no, I don't want it, no. I don't want to walk this earth if I gotta do it solo, 'cause I was so high and now I'm so low.